But yeah, fairly defensive support that could go on the offense early on. And here we come Moon's Troll Warlord. Fatas here on the mid lane. And most likely it's going to give whoever that goes mid from Cloud9 a fairly difficult time, because I think Troll lanes extremely well.
Yeah.
I think another reason why they just love picking this hero against Lycan is obviously the biggest threat when Shapeshift is up, and Troll Warlord can just turn on Battle Trance whenever he wants and just say, you know what, my entire team is going to be able to right-click with the best of them. You can come at us if you want, but there's a high probability that you're going to maybe die for it. And Cloud9, they just go with the Drow Ranger.
Now, traditionally, I would say Cloud9 is going to spend their last pick on Earthshaker.
Yeah.
Do a little bit of Ancient pulling, but obviously that's gotten patched out in 6.81. So the question is exactly what do you do? Same time, I feel like Lycan and Drow Ranger is somewhat greedy in the sense, like you have two very physical damage dealing heroes against Brewmaster Haze, as well as the mischance coming out from Troll Warlord. Do you feel like maybe a Magical Nuker is a little bit more effective? At the same time, Drow Ranger does buff up Visage's damage output, especially on those familiars.
They need disables, in my opinion. Like, if you look at Mouz right now, they're going to have at least one Blink Initiator. You're going to have to eventually start worrying about aggressive swaps once the Venge gets some levels, arrows. So if anybody gets initiated on the side of Cloud9, your only counter initiation right now is Puck. And Puck doesn't actually stop heroes from moving around. It really just stops them from being able to cast spells, which can be good. But is it enough to just save if somebody gets arrowed? I'm kind of uncertain on that.
So are you thinking of something like a Shadow Demon in terms of providing a little bit of support, or something a little bit more offensive like Shadow Shaman with Willing Hex initiation, a couple of shackles?
I think both are actually very good, because each one has its own playstyle, right? Like Shadow Shaman, you're definitely going to be going safe lane. You're going to be playing it a bit greedy, which means that there's a potential that Mouz could choose to go aggressive themselves, but they have to make that decision now. Like, they haven't seen what a second support is, and Mouz boards haven't picked theirs either, unless the Brew's going to be supporting, or off lane, which I'm kind of leaning towards MSS is going to play it, so most likely 1v1.
Does anyone pick Drow and Wisp, do they, IO? Is that a thing?
I mean, I guess technically you could, but I feel like that's the most extreme circumstance, right? Yeah. Like, instead of going for a very heavy push lineup with Shadow Shaman, like Lumi said, or going with a lineup that can just fight whenever they want with a Shadow Demon, you're going to be picking a hero that needs level 6, which is quite greedy, and you're not going to have any other backup plan other than relocating in. So.
Well, on the Wisp's case, that's one of Paladai's best heroes, so there's a likely chance. And also they're on the Radiant side, so stacking the jungle is something that Wisp can do early.
Dual lane mid with Drow.
And the one thing about Envy's playstyle on Drow is that he really benefits from stacks, like something that Excalibur showed us yesterday. So I think a support that could stack and protect her during the early stages of the game is going to be good. But we'll see what Paladai, or actually is Envy drafting here today instead of Pi.
It's interesting.
So most likely we're going to see a safe lane like him being handled by Sing Sing, Drow Ranger going mid, and exactly why is that, Andy? Like, why don't we see, for example, Lycan going mid and Drow in the safe lane? Because essentially both of these are one-row heroes, right?
Yeah, but I think Drow is actually more level dependent than the Lycan is. Because Lycan's damage output, sure, you want him to be level 6 just for his ulti, but you actually want Drow to get level 16 as fast as humanly possible, because the aura makes that big of a difference, especially when you're trying to push. You just activate the aura, you mow down towers, so I think levels on her are very, very good, because you're not only getting the higher ranks of Frost Arrow, which going from 3 to 4, I think is like, what, a 20-some-odd% increase in slow, and then you get the increased duration on your silences too, so everything about that hero just goes well into the late game, and yep, it's going to be
She's going to get leveled now that you can't pull those camps in. What it really gives you is a save from a very, very long range. So now you're dealing with a coil, you're dealing with Earthshaker Fissure, as well as those burst stunning. And finally, there's a gust on top of it as well. Not exactly like really big stuns like Ravage and a Black Hole, but just a lot of annoyance to go through.
A lot of silences for the Brewmaster as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I could see MSS just dying, but a big priority for both Sing Sing and Eternal Envy this game is work an MKB into your core, because there's a lot of mischance coming out.
If you're Mouse Sports and you see that they have a Lycan and he's like not a strong laner, do you offensive tri lane to try and like what they did yesterday when they tried to beat Lycan? I think all the time they beat him, they defensive tri lane.
I think going offensive tri lane is a great plan, but you got to recognize how dangerous that can be, because it's very easy for Cloud9 to rotate their Earthshaker to the safe lane, and suddenly you're dealing with Visage Earthshaker. Like, that's a lot of nuke, that's a lot of single target, and I don't think Lycan is that bad of a laner because he has How. So I think that's a viable option for Team Mousesport, but Looks like they're going to send Envy up top.
These are strange lanes. Hopefully.
I mean, they're very, very confident that they're going to have a 1v1 match up top, right? Because you don't send your Drow onto the off lane if you don't expect a 1v1 top.
This is really, really interesting. And Mauser, I think they actually see Bone 7.
Yeah, it's daytime, yeah.
Oh, paying attention.
Missed.
Nice.
He should have moved to the trees, maybe.
It's okay. I mean, just getting a chance to see that Bone 7's there, and also recognizing that Pylai dives bottom, but they don't see either core hero. So it's like, okay, well, we know the lanes are going to be a little bit different, so now they can maybe adjust accordingly.
Okay. How does Panda do in a 1v1 V-Drow? Not great, I don't think. It's
not as bad as most other melee heroes, because if you just put 1 point into Drunken Haze, which I don't think is even going to be the matchup, I think it's going to be Brew versus Lycan.
Okay.
The Drunken Haze actually makes it super annoying to lane, because it's only 50 mana, and if you get an early bottle on MSS, then you pretty much get all the farm you want.
Yeah, and speaking of the matchup, Lycan versus Brood, Lycan's going to have a fairly tough time. He will have the base damage increased from his Howl, but at the same time, getting close to get last hits against a Clap is going to be very, very difficult. You're going to take a ton of harass. Also, I'm very curious in terms of how Pi is going to play his Earthshaker this game. Is going to spend most of the time protecting Bone 7, is going to stack up the camps. If he wants to stack up camps, he's probably going to have to deward and whatnot. Well, deward the pull camp at least.
Yeah, for sure. I like the fact that Mouz is going aggressive here, because normally you would say that a tree is a hero that you don't want to see going aggressive because he kind of needs the levels and the experience. But what they can also do is, if they see the fact that it's a dual lane, they can just say Potts can go top, and he can just get all the experience he wants from pulls. And good luck ever trying to kill a Troll Warlord in tree lane. Like, you're going to have mischance, you're going to have tree armor on top of that, and even with double range, I feel like Fata's probably going to do just fine in the last hitting department. It shouldn't be too much of an issue for him. And if any of those heroes get caught, like Leech Seed is incredibly strong. They might even be able to go for a kill a little bit later on.
Yeah, Pasta is making that rotation like you speak of, but in terms of the damage output of Cloud9, the top lane could definitely get a kill. I think the rolling axis melee form might mess with it because of a mischance, but if Envy could connect with 3 or 4 Frost Arrows, allow the Grave Shield to set in from the Visage, you could just burst him down quite easily. So we'll see how that lane goes on the top. What do you think is the most important lane here, Andy? Is it the tri lane here that's coming for Mouseport, or is it the top lane for Cloud9 to get Eternal Envy farm?
Well, it does end up being a 2-1-2, so I think that both the dual lanes are almost equally as important. I think at the end of the day, like, Bone 7's going to get some farm, and then top lane you're going to be trading farm, and Pykat's going to get some too. So I think it's just down to whoever wants to start rotating and whoever makes the better mid-game choices. Although I would say that giving Bone 7 a free blink might be a bit worrisome, because if you have like blink, coil silence into a follow-up silence by Drow, heroes could be dying without even using spells, which is kind of an issue.
Now we're going to see a rotation to the mid lane here. There is a ward scouting for Sing Sing, and Misery shouldn't get the stun off, but they're going to do a very good job zoning Sing Sing completely away from the lane. If I'm Misery, I'm chasing him to the end of the time.
Yeah, you can get the stun.
Well, probably not going to get a kill.
Oh, but, he cast it.
That's fine though, because Sing Sing is missing what, a ton of level.
Yeah.
From this
wave. Well, he lost the creep wave, but it means his tower is going to get double waved and take quite a bit of damage, which is still technically a victory for Mouz.
Yeah.
I mean, if he pulls the creeps off the tower, that'll be good for him. Looks like the creep wave is actually split up right now, so he won't be able to do it.
I think Aoi needs to get level 6 as soon as possible, so he has the Howl and the Drow Aura for his birds. It's like 1 billion damage. It's like so much damage.
I mean, one thing to be saying is that Cloud9's lane, to me, have much better last hitting capability, right? Drow Ranger with the Aura early on, and then you have Howl damage coming in. I saw Bone 7 was able to get a ton of CS because of that Howl. So I imagine, should there's like a very, very passive laning stage, that's got to favor Cloud9.
Yeah, I think so too. It's quite difficult to kill Bone 7 bottom as well. Even if you...
Yeah, if those arrows don't hit.
Yeah.
It looks like they're going to do a little bit of lane swap. Fata having a little bit tough time up top, coming to the bottom lane, and Pyka needs to TP soon, so at least passively, Cloud9's got the advantage. In terms of a Mirana versus Drow, I think that's still favors Drow, especially if she's got a little bit of a level advantage.
Well, I think the reason of the swap is not actually about the farm as much as it is about being able to kill. Because an arrow and an additional stun is way more scary to deal with than just a Troll Warlord sitting there passively farming. And in a 1v1, even if the Puck and the Troll trade farm, I think Mouz are more okay with that, just because of the fact that they might be able to pressure Envy a bit more.
Yeah, it's a musical chair lane, because we're going to see Pylai Die rotating from the bottom to top, and suddenly it's a tri lane. And this tri lane can definitely get kills as well. Are they thinking about going for it? They're blocking the creep wave. And if maybe Venge gets a little bit too close.
Do you really want to fight into Leech Seed and Tree Armor?
Well, Leech Seed did get nerfed in the last patch, so the healing isn't that powerful, but yeah, it's a tough thing to fight into. At the same time, you do have Soul Assumption, one of the best trialing spell ever, so we'll see. I think that this lane could definitely go either way.
Well, outside of middle lane, Cloud9 definitely have the laning advantage so far, and you have to also say that Sing did get ran around, basically.
Yeah.
And he got almost ganked by Misery in the beginning, so he's still doing really well, like 13-1 comparative to 17-8, but that's with MSS basically getting a full free creep wave, so.
So the mischance from the Drunken Brawler actually counts for creeps as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a mini AoE.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have it.
No, Drunken Brawler.
Oh, you mean like whenever they get the first hit? Yeah.
Oh.
Envy could be your first blood here. Pycat's going to pick it up. Misery with a nice positioning, gets a good stun off and to an arrow, and they just managed to kill him. So
it's a very good time to actually go for a gank because it's close to minute 4, and generally good supports. We'll talk about later. Fata is perhaps a little bit trouble. Bone 7 doesn't have the secondary nuke, so not going to go for it, or didn't think it'll hit. But yeah, generally when you know the enemy support's going to check the 4-minute rune, that's the time to go. But unfortunately, Pylai Dai wasn't there for a defensive fissure, so a fairly easy kill going against Cloud9.
It also nighttime at that stage as well, so there's less vision.
Well, doesn't Drow get higher night vision? Or is that a Luna thing? That's a Luna thing.
Yeah, Luna, yeah.
Well, I do think that, like, the lane transition, like, obviously you can say in hindsight that Mouz probably a bit happy with it because they got the first blood, but that was just the kill potential of the lane. Like, you can get double stunned, and if you're not ready with a follow-up fissure or something like that, you're just going to end up dying.
Pass is going a bit around top. Yeah,
Visage is, well, not much armor, but if he does get a Grave Chill off, maybe he could walk it off. I don't think that's going to be possible. AI should know that it's coming. Where's the Grave Chill? He's got to run away trying to dodge the arrow, but Magic Missile is going to come in. Starstorm's going to get the kill. The TP in from Puck is going to be a little bit late. He does not have Coil yet. It's going to Raining Rift. It's one more hit, and Living Armor is going to come through, so Pycat's going to survive, and the gank's going to go the other way. Arrow got no phase. Bone 7's going to go down. Misery. Well, I don't think it's a manner pause, but it could be.
I don't know if he can live.
No, he's probably dead.
Yeah.
He doesn't have enough mana for Leech Seed, though, so he's going to eat a couple of auto attacks. Probably still a goner.
He still has Coil. He can set up if he lives, which I don't think he will for the duration.
I think that's like a 3-second arrow or something.
Yeah, it's
apparently a stunned Puck can still blink, which makes no sense.
What?
You're stunned. Can you blink?
I can't blink.
If you're stunned.
You can phase, you mean, is what you're saying.
No, like his eyes just blink.
Oh,
yeah, never mind.
Yeah,
my references
are
wasted on you guys.
That's okay. Everybody. Oh, split middle lane. He wants to go for Sing. He's going to go for the dive. He already gets the boulder toss off. Aoi TP's in. He's going to get immediately Cyclone Sing. He's going for the jukes inside of the trees. Can the Fire Spirit get one more hit? No, he gets canceled.
But he goes into the...
Oh, yeah, he gets it.
Yeah. Nice.
So Cloud9 is... We thought they had the better lane, but that's only if passivity sets in, and that's not exactly...
Misery coming in bottom. Can he get the stun? So close.
Fine.
Mouz also rotated their lanes as well, so...
Yeah, forcing the rotation from Cloud9, but this is actually what you expect out of Mouz's game plan, right? They always do this. They get well off in the early game, and they'll snowball. So let's see how Cloud9 could do in terms of stemming the bleeding, because... Really,
sorry, go ahead.
If you allow Mouz to perhaps knock down 1 or 2 tier 1 towers, that frees up Roshan. That really sets in terms of limiting what Envy could do in the mid game. He likes to farm a lot, and I'm not sure whether he's going to get the opportunity to do so if the game continues to go this way.
I think this is honestly just typical Mouz. Like, they lane in a way where they're not really losing out too badly, and then they make really good rotations, start getting kills, and then suddenly it seems like they're just crushing everything in the early game. I think Mouz have actually done something similar to this almost every single game that we've seen. And Misery said, after Bruno had mentioned that Cloud9 are obviously doing their homework, that it doesn't matter to them, they're just going to play their game, and that's exactly what they've been doing.
Yeah, and something else to be said is that Pylai Dai is not exactly at these ganks to protecting his allies. Normally he's always there. But you're just going to get dropped on top lane, just a little bit of harassment, and those creeps are like there, standing. But normally Pylai Dai, he either has a teleport scroll or he is just sitting behind the carries as they get ganked, but Pi hasn't involved himself into any of these fights, and that to me is a little bit precarious.
Is the Lycan as Radiant? It's not that common, to be honest. It's mainly because of the Visage, isn't it? Like, it's on the Drought. Like, it's more of the combo rather than, like,
Yeah, I think it's the hero combination more than it is just what side you're on. Yeah. But I would also argue that getting a Lycan on Dire is pretty much always going to be slightly better. Yeah. Just because of the free Roshan opportunities that you're going to be given throughout the game. MSS going for a high ground clap there, but he's going to not actually see that Aui's in a better position. But I think that like this kind of start is the best case scenario for Mouz, like clearly. Oh, Misery might be in a bit deep.
Yeah, here comes Pylai. Fissures going to be there. Don't think they're going to get the kill.
Wow, they are so scared too.
Yeah, Misery's going to straight up TP out. They had ward coverage, so they should have seen that.
Misery's like, hold on, I don't need the TP.
Fine. Yeah, I also really like what Cloud9 did is they put Sing Sing back in a jungle and allow AEI 2000 to get that level 6. Shane, you talked about how crucial it is for AEI to get that level 6 because essentially that's their entire fighting force, right?
Yeah,
early game-wise, if you don't have a level 6 Visage, you're just sitting duck. So good to see them. Oh, I thought that was an arrow, and it looks like we're going to see a leap in. Arrow will miss. Bone 7 walking off. But yeah, now we're going to see AEI sending those birds around and hopefully start to get a little bit of killing for Cloud9.
This is the time, man. This is the time when you can start actually making things happen. Like giving him the solo lane, I think is the right call. But you need to actually get something out of your solo lane Visage for now. He's sending his birds bottom just to be a little bit annoying. Almost could have got a courier there.
With the hell, they nearly have 100 damage.
And the aura.
Yeah, that's not even including Drow aura.
Yeah. It's a scary combo.
Yeah. Especially if it gets Aghanims. Holy crap.
I'm kind of worried though because usually trees are some of the most underleveled heroes like just in the game, but Pasa's already almost level 6 and it's only 9 minutes in. They're gonna pop Moonlight Shadow. There's no sentries bottom lane. Could be going for a potential kill here, but no, they know. They had a ward top. Yeah, they had a ward top. Okay.
Mid lane though looks like AEI is gonna get clapped on, and Drunken Haste, or sorry, a Bruce Split. The second one of the game, it's gonna get the kill.
He's gotten a kill for every split.
Every ultimate, which is a great rate, if you ask me.
So it looks like Aoi didn't get the memo that the Moonlight Shadow came out because Pylai and Envy both backed, and Envy's just like, I'm gonna farm. It's fine. No big deal. Blink now on MSS, 9 minutes in.
This is a huge problem for Cloud9 because Drow Ranger as a hero, you don't ever want that Broodmaster to be coming in. And that goes back to the draft. Like, they pick Drow Ranger into your Brood. What do you think about that, Andy?
Well, I think it's just because of the pushing power that it gives you, and again, it's about the hero combination. It's about getting the Howl, the Drow Aura, and the Visage together, and just having that kind of immediate killing potential, which they do still have. MSS is going to get spotted out here.
He's dead. Fissure's gonna.
Quite far.
I mean, look at those crits. Yeah. Crits. Okay. You know, one crit at least is coming in for sure because of the Drunken Brawler.
Yeah, but that was 2 in a row, which is quite unlucky.
He maxed the spell.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
20% of the time, every time.
So when is Cloud9 going to start to come back, or how are they going to start to come back? It looks like we're going to see a fight on the mid lane. Sing Sing using that shapeshift, getting the hell out of there. It seems like Cloud9's lineup is so one-dimensional in that they're going to just try to farm and push.
Yeah.
But if they lose every single lane, they're not going to be able to do that.
I think that Mouz is just really good at eking these small advantages. Like, you look at what they just did to Sing. They made him use a level 1 shapeshift just to run. That means that you can no longer use it to try to do any backdooring or anything like that. So
or Roshan.
Yeah, or Roshan. So you can't get away with like anything against Mouz in the early game, it seems. And I said 20, it's 25 by the way. I'm Drunken Brawler. I just had to double check.
Arrow flying on the bottom lane, not gonna hit on Envy.
But it's important to note that all of these small advantages end up making it seem like Mouz just have dominant early games every single time we see them.
And they do in this game. 0-6 in favor of Mouz.
They also rotate. Like some teams will just say, okay, it's okay, we'll just sack that lane. But Mouz always rotates to get the best lane.
Pylai eats an arrow to the face, the double Starstorm Pycat. He gets the kill, he's going for the retreat. Won't be able to make it though. Aoi with that max level soul assumption.
Hashtag worth it for Cloud9 because trading Mirana for your Earthshaker. And not only that, if they're aware, they should know that there is a ward in that vicinity. Unless they think
well, the Fade Time killed him. Yeah. The Moonlight Shadow Fade Time killed him. It's 2.5 seconds.
No, I think Lumi's talking about the Dire Observer ward.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Blink. He's gonna go on Envy. Envy's just dead. And AEI is doing the correct thing. He's just getting himself out of there. But the Windwalk into a Cyclone, and I do believe AEI is gonna be dead as well. The birds are doing a little bit of havoc, and AEI trying to run north. There's a Magic Missile. There's a Rolling Axe, and 2 very easy kills going against Cloud9. While in the mid lane, Sing Sing at least forcing out a Glyph. What about top? It seems like the entirety of Cloud9 is trying to do a lot of stuff all over the map.
This is kind of what they're forced into doing, though. Like, they have to go not try to fight full-fledged engagements and try to just play a little bit of the rat style, which is kind of what their team is good at.
Sing running right into Pycat. I'm not sure whether he noticed Invis Rune. Well, I guess he knows there. He's going to be fine.
Why dodge the arrow when you can just invis, man?
And tank it. I like how every time I've looked, AEI is just farming with his birds.
Yeah, every single time.
Carry player, you know. Former carry player.
Well, he has Medallion now, so I think they're going to try and get Roshan after they get maybe mid-tier 1 or something.
Yeah, it is very dangerous in the sense that if Cloud9 ever wins like a engagement, they're going to take down tower for days. Tower, Roshan. So it's also very important for Mouz to win these fights.
Yeah. Like, staying ahead is actually their plan. Like, they need to stay ahead of a team like Cloud9.
Mouz, you know, they generally have that mid-game throw. It's like pretty normal for them. Is that a little bit harsh?
A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit true. Top lane, though, Fata, he's in a coil right now. He gets a tree and armor. Sing, he's going to be forced triple TP reaction. Sing forced to run. I mean, this could be a death for Pyladai. Arrow
not going to catch Magic Missile. A little bit of a cast time, so he makes it out there. So essentially a coil for 3 TPs. Not too bad if you're Cloud9.
Would you not push off this if you were Mouz?
I mean, you kind of have to if you TP 3 people top. I guess they don't care, though. They just see that they're getting pushed in 2 other lanes simultaneously. To be fair, like Cloud9, even if they weren't able to kill Fata, they do outmaneuver. They get a tier 1 mid.
Pass bottom.
Yeah, Overgrowth is gonna get used. Where's the TP coming in though? They still, I mean, they use all those TP for the top lane. Envy's like, okay, yeah, sure.
He just wanted to stop him from hitting the tower, I guess. Yeah, yeah. Worked out.
It's a really low cooldown, Overgrowth. Only 70 seconds.
But I like the way that Cloud9 did that, because when you force that many TPs, I think it might have been just a bit of an overreaction from Mouz. Like, they were really concerned with saving Fata there, and maybe so much so that they ended up getting pushed in 2 different places. And that's, I think, how Cloud9 are going to continue to play this. So Mouz need to be careful not to give away too many more towers like that.
So shout out to the Visage birds right now that are hanging out on that one particular spot. This is a spot you could send your birds and they'll just park it there and they could farm because those creeps will never hit your bird.
Yeah.
So if you ever feel like you need to finish an item, as a Visage, you could send your birds there.
Also, Sing's wolves are scouting a lot as well. They're just following Pycat around the jungle, like without attacking. Use move, following them.
So Blink Dagger is up on Bone 7, and I think that's really kind of what they need to start making the comeback. Also, with that said, Envy has his Hanamitis already finished, and it's been running for a while now. So I feel like despite the fact that Cloud9's down 8 kills, I think they're in an alright position. They're not getting snowballed out of control.
Yeah, it's definitely still in control.
The big concern, though, is that Pyladai is level 4 at 15 minutes. Yeah. And he's got 600 gold to his name. So, I mean, he's relying really heavily on that tower build to get Blink, right? But that's not going to give him level 6. Because of the fact that they haven't gotten like any kills at all, he doesn't have any experience. But Mouz, they're going to be pressuring the bottom tower, and they're surrounding Sing here in the middle lane. He does have Shapeshift, though. I'm not sure if they're actually going to be able to kill him. Might just force him into the
If they land a big arrow, it will kill. Arrow going to whiff by and whiff. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, excuse me, it's going to be Fata that destroys the tower. I think if you're Cloud9, you trade tower for days, and I think the tower trade is going to come through. Living Armor is going to make that slow down. Fata TP's in, and the birds will retreat for now.
Yeah, those trades are not the ones that you want to be making if you're Cloud9. No. Like, you have to try to force some kind of aggression like they did before with Bone 7's coil, and then make them TP to you so you can go get towers. Because if you let Mouz get to a tower first, you have Battle Trance, so they will be able to push, maybe not as fast, but at least on, I would say, a pretty good level.
Yeah. Unfortunately for Cloud9, their push is not one of those, like, I go down mid as 5 and push a tower down, at least not right now.
They can be.
They can be, but not with their current item. They currently are just chip damage push, which is really bad against Tree. In fact, Sing's gotta be... Oh, Delusion try to block the arrow that's coming, and he's gonna shapeshift out, but the swap.
Nice.
Man, Misery is just on top of its game. Like, even if he would have died either way, like just getting that max distance swap with a level 1 swap and knowing exactly where he had to be. Top lane, now Bone 7, nice defensive vision from Pyladai. But Misery, man, he's got my heart. What a player. Yeah. I mean, Vengeful Spirit is not exactly the most skill-intensive hero, but just properly using every one of his spells. I do want to take a little bit of time talking about skill build. Normally, you want to max Magic and Missile, but really his job in this game is just setting up that arrow and just
giving that 1 point whatever amount of stun time. And Terra is going to increase the uptime damage.
He also doesn't want to increase the mana cost of it as well.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is a great skill build for this particular game.
He can actually cost 3 magic spells. If he had leveled it up, he could only cost 2.
It's a good point, good point. And they get another tower for free. Battle Trance, get towers, get money, continue your lead in this game.
I think if they take tier 1 middle, if Mouz take it, they can actually just Roshan, and I don't think there's much Cloud9 can do.
Well, they do have to be a little bit careful. Zone 7 is level 10 now, which there's something really important about Puck that I think a lot of people forget, is that if you're not like level 10, you don't have max into Waning Rift unless you sacrifice points into Illusory Orb, which most players will not do.
Yeah.
Okay? So that means that even if you have a Blink, the coil is the only real setup. You're not going to have a really good silence to stop MSS from splitting. So it felt like there was this window where even if you had a Blink, they really just couldn't go for kills. And they're going to try again here on middle lane.
The arrow after?
Not going to hit though, no shapeshift. The swap's going to come through and CC's going to be dead. There's no TP reaction coming in from Cloud9 at all. But looks like the birds are going to lead the charge. Vidger, that's not going to hit on too much. That's a 2-man Waning Rift, but they're not going to get MSS, or will they? The birds, it's going to force out a split at the very least. Tower's going to go down as a result, and they lose 1 familiar as well. That's going to be it for the fight.
The Panda's going for it.
Oh, they see high. Okay, that could set up arrow.
It's just a bit of guff.
Yeah.
This whole time, Eternal Envy's just farming though. He nearly has his Blink Dagger, or Mask of Madness. I think he goes Blink first though, doesn't he?
I think you want to go Blink this game. I feel like Envy normally at this point would have Blink, Mask of Madness already purchased, but it's just a very poor game for his team. Normally Cloud9 likes to chip damage and push down towers, but this Treant pick has really been tough for him.
I think he might be dead.
No, he's seeping out.
Oh.
There you go.
Arrow was on cooldown.
It was a nice effort, though, from Pycat. They're just not giving him anything.
Yeah.
Like, every time they see him on the map, they force some kind of reaction to it, like either Misery or Pycat or somebody.
And he's going, I guess,
Mjolnir
first?
Yeah, Maelstrom. He wants to push out the lanes faster. I think the Blink argument is fair if you're actually getting to the towers, but he's not getting to the towers. Like, he's just killing like 2 or 3 creep waves and then being forced back. So, in terms of effective farming, I think Maelstrom is a lot better. Just because you can push the waves out quicker to get back to the jungle quicker, or, you know, farm the other places on the map just a little bit faster. So we talked about killing that tier 1 tower and the implications it would have for Roshan, and Mouz are already taking advantage of it. Yeah, and there's really no time for Cloud9 to respawn because he kills so fast with that max terror, with Battle Trance, as well as that armlet. Yeah. Roshan dead.
Roshan has fallen to the dark.
I'm actually surprised that the goal lead isn't a lot more than it currently is. It's sitting around like 7,500. I imagine this should have been like a 10 to like 12,000 goal lead, but it seems like Cloud9 at the very least is farming okay.
He disabled the Blink with the hell.
Oh, Highlight Die.
Highlight Die should be okay for now. The birds are not dropping. The Overgrowth's going to come in. It looks like Pi is going to die. Enchantona's is going to come in. They're going to focus on Sing Sing as well. Sing Sing shapeshift, and he's just completely locked down. Anything that can go wrong is going wrong for Cloud9.
I think everyone on Mouz is playing spectacular. Like Misery, Pycat, and MSS especially, because I mean, let's see. MSS got 2 solo kills basically with splits 2 times in a row. Misery has been everywhere on this map. He's 009, been involved in almost every single one of his team's kills. Pycat always loves playing the aggressive Mirana. He's 6-1-1, just been landing arrows after stuns for days. Like, this whole team just seems to be like a well-oiled machine to me.
Yeah, a lot of people had the question is, which Cloud9 is going to show up? Is it the Cloud9 that's going to win the tournament, or is it...
The thing about Cloud9 though, even if they play like this in this game, the next game they could do something completely different that could blow your mind.
Change up their playstyle.
Yeah,
but my question for you guys is, are they just playing poorly, or is Mouz playing really good? Because I'm not sure they're playing poorly.
I don't really think they're playing that bad. I think Mouz are just like a step ahead, like every single time.
And when you get that like 3-0 start, it's very easy to go from 3-0 to 113. So I think Cloud9 just don't really have that lineup to make a comeback. Their best fighter is Puck, and what are you setting up Dreamcore for? Your draw ranger that right clicks for what, 100 damage?
It's mainly to do with Lycan, I think.
Yeah, at this point they're just not in fighting condition. And if you look at the items that Mouz is getting, like a Deso and Mirana, they just want to kill stuff now. And I imagine they'll continue to do so. How do you stop this push?
I don't think you can, actually. I mean, you're going to lose your outer 2 towers, I think, for sure. Maybe high ground is a bit much.
Oh, look at this cheeky sending 2 familiars. The wolves stop the push. I mean, you can't push them when they're doing stuff like that.
But this is what Cloud9 do, right? Like, this is their I would say, forte in terms of draft.
Yeah.
They love Drow, they love Visage, they love Lycan. They pick it all the time. But they're getting, like, housed by Mouz. I mean,
it is a very greedy lineup in the laning stage. Would you say to that? Like,
I don't know if it's really that greedy in the lanes because you're
like they don't fight
well.
They farm well, but they don't fight well.
Do you think you need an advantage with this kind of lineup? Like you need to actually.
I think you expect to win your lanes with this lineup.
That's what I'm,
Oh, see? Magic missile, unfortunately. Arrow, that's gonna. No! Look at the damage output. Jeez.
That death cell
with the bottle chance.
And the armlet and the terror. But the backdoor on the top here, you can see that Bone 7 is forcing at least some TP. I mean,
who has an armlet? You keep saying armlet.
Gets himself another kill on Envy.
Whenever I say armlet, I mean Medallion.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
I don't know. Between MSS and Misery, I can't decide who I think is like the MVP of the game. I think that maybe MSS didn't have to move around as much, but look at how much farm he has, man. It's insane.
Yeah, he annihilated Sing did. It was also Misery though rotating to allow him to do it, so
yeah.
So the question is, if you can't farm at that jungle camp next to your tower, where can you farm?
Well, I mean, this is when, honestly, the Blink Dagger, I think, for the Drow becomes a better item. But he's actually not even going Maelstrom WoW. He's going BKB.
Oh, no, the game-losing BKB.
The game-losing BKB. It actually, like, I understand where he's coming from because he hasn't had any room to split push at all. So maybe he feels like defending the high ground with BKB is the best choice. But he's not going to do that much damage.
In the past, though, you said Dre Ranger is not that bad as a, or not Dre Ranger, but like Shadow Fiend, like natural damage dealers.
Yes.
They're not that bad to get BKB first item. And Dre was like one of the highest natural damage dealers in the game.
But it's only right click though. That's the thing. And I don't think right click's killing Panda, but they are going to pop the Aegis inside of the woods.
They have 3 birds. And if they lock them down properly, there's 1 stun, 2nd stun, the coil's going to be expanded. Pycat's going to drop a lot of experience none the least. And who got the last stun on that? That's Bone 7, 600 more gold for him. The problem is, you don't really need your puck to get more farm. I mean, it's
they
great
need to run. They can't take this fight anymore, I don't think.
There's no coil. So they could just run at their leisurely pace.
Yeah. I think it's hilarious the way Ewy has a fucking...
Mules. Okay, the birds are coming in. There's just no more lockdown.
There was no more stuns, yeah, the bird stun.
Blink block. Oh, there's space, and Fatah's like, I don't know about that. There's a Fissure coming in. There's a defensive swap as well. It's time to retreat.
And Pylai Daigo is going to try to save his teammate. He will, but he's going to end up dying for it. The blind comes out onto Sing. A nice root hits on Aoi and Sing both. Even shaped if he's going to go down. The swap immediately on the TP and the Cyclone just for good measure. The spell magic cancels it out.
Tree
quite low. The armor's still there. They will be able to get 1 return kill, but at what cost, honestly? Cyclone, they might lose Bone 7. The Boulder Smash not going to land in time. It flies through space in time, man.
That rocket's going ham. I don't think Weapus.
You can see the shadow. You can see the shadow of it. Wait.
It's gonna hit eventually, I think.
Wait, what?
Wait, where did it go?
Rock
just disappeared.
It was on my screen. I don't know.
Yeah, it disappeared, I think.
Well, tier 2 tower being hammered down, but they want to fight this Cloud9 because here comes the TP. BKB still over to Envy. And they are going to get MSS, big kill. Are they going to get a little bit more? Yes, they are. Misery. There's a Moonlight Shadow. The Cyclone, though, from Bone 7. Is there any detection? There is a dust. Did it come from Envy? I think it did.
Yeah, that's still a lot for Bone 7. Like, he just got 1,000 gold from 1 kill, 600 gold from another kill, and another. So he's just got 2,000 gold.
He's halfway to hits, like.
Yeah. That's actually really big for him. Not to say that it's going to be some huge comeback, but for Bone 7, he's having a pretty damn good time right now.
Fatah has 5.1k gold though at the same time.
Jesus Christ. What is this? A butterfly AC or what? Manta SMY? Yes, Scotty. That's the item he got for yesterday. Where do you go here, Andy?
Honestly, the choice is really his. I think another damage item wouldn't hurt too bad.
Like a Daedalus?
Well, he could go MKB. He could go Daedalus. I like MKB just for the sole fact that when you're sieging, if you can hit heroes as they're like trying to defend, then you can never miss. You know, it's just good harass.
I think it might be a Scotty.
Plus mini stuns are nice. Yeah, it is. He's buying another Scotty.
Because if you're getting a Manta style, you should get the Asha first. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, you would get the Yasha first, actually. It's a better damage item because you get the 31 attack speed and you get the agility for damage.
Sometimes when I'm behind, I get the ultimate up first instead of the Yasha. Just to get more life.
Yeah, but he's not behind.
Yeah.
So I think the Scotty choice is, it's interesting because against some teams you would say that if you land one auto attack with a Scotty, you're just going to guarantee a kill more or less because they can't run. But you have like Grave Chill, you can walk away with that, you can walk away with Shapeshift, Puck can phase, Yules, all that other stuff. The only two who are really going to suffer too much from it, I think, would be the Drow Ranger and the Visage.
I think it's also
the Earthshaker,
to slow it. Speed of the Lycan maybe as well, like so you can just right click him. You can just run up to his face and right click him.
Yeah, it could just be the tankiness factor too. You know that you already have enough damage with your Battle Trance, you have Vengeful Spirit Aura, you have minus armor from the Howl and the Medallion, so you know you're going to be able to kill your focus target like 100% of the time.
You have that extra 15% from Vlad as well.
Yeah. And finally, Cloud9 gets a T1 top. A little bit of split push with those birds. Birds Howl as well as, you know, the Drow Aura. Kind of OP in that sense.
It's so strong.
Yeah. Yeah, in all of this, AEI actually got himself up to an Acceptor, despite his career. It's like, you know, that's where you send those birds to that spot, man. Just get some farm out of no farm.
Yeah, I was just looking at his items. I was like, what? Why is there 3 birds on the map?
Look, he's got the team's first kill, right? For the longest time, it was like 1 to 13, and there's that finish.
Going Lincolns.
That's interesting in the sense that you're not really blocking much.
Swaps, I guess. Or not arrows, but maybe Venge Stun and swap.
Yeah, the swap has been killing Sing Sing quite a lot, actually.
Put a Lincolns on your Lycan and just let him go ham, I guess.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a great idea.
But you're still going to get rooted, right? You're still going to get rooted, you're still going to get arrowed.
And you can break it with the Drunken Haze as well, if you really want to.
We'll see if the Roshan's going to be spawning here. Because it's a Blake. We're going to see if it's going to spawn early or late here in about a second or two.
It could spawn right now, though, couldn't it?
Oh, full Roshan timer. Wow. What luck.
For Cloud9. I mean, they need a little bit. Backdoor on the bottom tier 1 tower. The birds are going to it. Force us out Glyph. That's fine. They're going to lose a bird, I think. No, well micro here by AEI.
He very rarely loses the birds. Like, they always seem to escape.
I mean, the problem with this kind of backdoor attempt is that it's not going to work because living armor is just healing it back up.
Well, if you have all 3 birds and the tower is alone, the living armor doesn't matter.
They also kill tier 1 top, so...
Yeah.
It kind of does work.
It does.
I'm sorry.
It didn't work well. I'm just, you know.
No, you're right about this scenario. Like, if they rotate like that, they have like 5 heroes down there, the birds aren't killing it. But I think Mouz are just prioritizing the Roche Bear right now. Like, they don't care about their other lanes, which, I mean, mid and bottom are probably the 2 that they're going to keep pushed, and top, just like, so be it. If he gets to the tier 2, he gets to the tier 2. He'll have to BKB TP if he wants to get out, and even then he can still get swapped if Misery's on time, so. But Misery doesn't have a TP, so a little interesting.
Eternal Envy has nearly 3k gold. Do you think you'll go back for the Blink, or is it going to be like a fighting item?
I think at this stage of the game, you want to just go for like damage items.
Maelstrom?
So maybe? Maelstrom is kind of where I'm looking at. But, you know, Envy is the man that has interesting item choice, to say the least. So we'll see what he gets.
Oh, Fata might be in a bit of trouble.
Nah, he's grand.
They're so afraid, Cloud9, to do anything.
They can't even kill Fata. Like, if all 3 of these heroes ganked him, he would still be alive for a very long time. Probably long enough to the point where his team could react.
Yeah. Like
2200 health and a mech. Like, I'm rounding up there, but still.
Especially when Misery has a Force and a swap, a level 2 swap.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of net worth, we have Malsport in a very healthy lead. My concern here for Cloud9 is Sing Sing, because he's playing one of those heroes that needs to stay ahead, like through tower gold, kill gold, and he's not doing quite well.
There's your armlet on Lycan.
Honestly, he needs like a BKB armlet, Vlad's, and maybe an item on top of that to stay relevant. And Eye's dead.
So much damage.
And this is why they need to stay really defensive, because it's just so easy for them to get killed. Bone 7's up to some shenanigans. Is he looking to get a courier kill? Is he looking for a wave? What is the thing?
He's just dancing around.
His best demon impression in Trace.
To be honest, I think we've been giving a lot of credit to Mouz this game, and it is deserved. Like, I'm not saying we shouldn't be crediting him, but if you look at Cloud9, they've still maintained, like, given the fact that they've been really far behind since the laning phase in terms of what they could do on the map, they've still managed to find a lot farm.
I don't think they're actually that far behind.
I think they are very far behind, but I think it was impressive that they were able to apply pressure to the map at all, get those tier 1s, and keep themselves in the game this long and not have lost all their tier 2s already. Yeah,
also, the kind of going back on Mouz's side, the impressive thing for them is normally when they get into this kind of lead, they're like, yeah, let's just push towers, go on high ground, and you know, somehow throw away that lead. But this game, I like the fact that they take the game a little bit slower as we see the birds sunning down a couple of heroes on top. And they're not throwing any lead away. The go graph is bouncing back and forth, but you got to keep in mind that mouse sport is working with a lot better map control. And thus, the 2 Roshans are going their way, that better ward coverage. And they just randomly get pick off. For example, Pylai Dai, you know, getting picked on top. Looks like they might get a pick here.
Swap is up. No, Pylai Dai.
Oh, Pi is dead.
Oh, misery.
He might be fine.
Okay, Hero. Big Starstorm. That Pycat though, if you get him die, that's gonna be a big kill. The mech's gonna come through. Wolf is trying to eat him alive, and I think they are gonna get a kill. No! Look at how quickly Sing Sing just died.
Oh,
and the Magician, Bone 7, no, he's gonna get picked as well. Malsport just routing them.
You know, the sad part about that is, like, even if they kill Pycat, it just would have been an Aegis, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're not getting anything huge out of that engagement, no matter what.
Maybe they could get a tier 2 top.
Oh,
you know, there's the birds.
The damage is quite strong for this tower. Look how, oh my god, it melts.
Yeah, that push potential is something to be feared, no doubt. But they're going to trade tier 2s, I believe. Even if they TP back without Bone 7, I don't think they have any chance of even stopping Mouz's push bottom.
The only one that has a TP is MSS, but it's on cooldown.
Yeah, tower's dead. And they're going to use a clip for it, so maybe they're going to hold on.
Bottom tower is under attack.
No,
I think that glyph is assuming Mouz is going to back right after the tower. Like, I don't think you glyph that unless you're 100% sure that Mouz are not going to continue pushing, which is fair.
Or they're confident that Mouz is not going to push high ground in the next 5 minutes, in which case, you know, it's a pretty big risk though.
Well, they could also just go for the tier 2. Like, as soon as they see that, they say, okay, push out top, come mid, we'll go for the tier 2. Or they could just go back and maybe let Pycat heal so they don't just give away the Aegis for free.
Fata's nearly up to another 5k gold.
Oh, that regen. If only they knew.
I think if you're Fata, the next item you look towards is
Refresher. All right. We got 2
silences.
coils.
No, it's about the silence, I think.
Well, the silence and the coils, because there's only one hero as BKB.
Yeah.
Another way to look at it, it's just a lot of nuke damage, right?
Why didn't he just get Ags, Looney?
Well, I mean, Ags is a very good item. It's just maybe not that good in this game. And when I say Ags is a very good item, it's pretty bad.
I love it.
It's pretty bad.
I know you love the item on Puck. I was just poking.
No, I like the item on Puck. It's like a hipster thing, right? Because it's bad and nobody does it. So I was like, yeah, let's get Axe on Puck. It's pretty bad. It's terrible. But let's talk about Yields for a second here. Like, what does it actually do? Arrow is going to hit on Sing Sing. Do you want to fight this, though? Because there is Yields on him. There's a fissure. Nicely done. No, just back off, Cloud9. Just back. He's got a blink right after. The swap's long range, and well, Sing Sing's going to try to run away. Magic Missile will hit, and this is where he really misses the 300 extra HP, because those Cecil damage is really cutting him down. Armlet Toggle's keeping him alive. How many leaps does this guy have? Okay, he'll make it out.
I love how aggressive Pycat was with that too. He's like, holy, I hit an arrow, let's go, boys. He just leaps immediately.
Well, his Aegis is about to run out, so he's thinking to himself, let's go, let's use the Aegis.
Yeah, true. And it's going to be an MKB finish on the Troll Warlord, which makes sense, because if you look at Envy, he's going for that butterfly. So when that thing finishes, that evasion is not going to do much for Envy.
The mini stuns too are really annoying with the attack speed that you have. It's almost like a sniper to an extent with Battle Trance on and Max Fervor.
And here comes the high ground push. Now it's looking very poised, no advantage being really thrown away. Gus action going.
Oh, arrow hits on Envy.
Nice vision. But the swap's going to come through. Envy has to pop that BKB. He's dead. Is there buyback? He has to use it right now. Coil number 1 is dropped. And Bone 7, he's really low in that fight. Huge Aqua Slap's going to come through. Where's the Bone 7? Bone 7's dead. There's a buyback from Envy. He's right-clicking for the best was work, but which is not doing any damage. Pylai dies dead on outside the base, and I think the Rat's going to go down.
That might just be GG. They have no glyph. Their base is just going to get mauled here.
Bone 7 didn't actually get a second.
Yeah, they're just going for the throne. I'm very impressed with Mouthful because this game, they held on for the advantage. There was no throw. I think Cloud9 is trying their best to hold their base right now, which they're doing okay. But tier 4 is dropping quick.
I gotta say, like,
I don't think it's over yet.
Well, they might not be able to end the game right here.
Yeah.
But, like, taking that big of a hit while you're inside your base. Bone 7 also uses Refresher and wasn't able to get a second coil off. Misery started that engagement by swapping over the fissure and then used the fissure against Cloud9 themselves by just making it so they couldn't help Envy.
And he also forced off back over the fissure, so he was actually fine.
Like, Misery actually played disgustingly good this game. Like, I know you said Venge is in that high skill cap of a hero, but it's not about the hero necessarily as it is about knowing exactly where to be.
Well, the throne is under siege right now. They're going to go on Fata, but Fata extremely tanky thanks to that butterfly coil. Is going to get dropped down here. Bone 7 still setting things up despite the game's not going too well. They are going to get one kill on the Troll Whirler, and looks like Troll's going to go down as well. Envy just throwing down deeps on the back line. There's Aegis responding for Mirana. Got to focus him down. Nice gut. That's going to force Pycat to come back, and it looks like Envy's going to defend the base thanks to his team. He might be a little bit turbo. Look at MSS. Big right clicks are coming through, and they have to run away from the Panda, and the Panda is just throwing them right now.
Split to the base. Split to the base.
And he is going to do that. The damage output is pretty insane. AI 2000, a little bit of trouble. The Cloud's going to come through. He will summon the birds, and they're going to focus on the Earth Panda, excuse me, the Fire Panda. Misery's going to come back here, and they will right click down the throne. Game 1 will go to Mouz Sport. The boys coming from the loser brackets, if you want to call it that, doing extremely well on day 1. Day 2.
I don't know how you stop Misery, man. That guy's a monster. Like, every single game, he just does so much for his team. It's actually